The most common excuse I hear kids use to justify not caring about math is, "I'll never use this in real life." Sorry guys, lame excuse. You'll never use it if you don't know it. Just like you'll never ride a bike if you don't know how to ride a bike. I do sympathize though. You may opt to never use complicated formulas in real life. But what's important in math is understanding the concepts. Math is all about patterns and relationships in the world, and these are useful. Here's a case in point. I bought a corner bookcase from Amazon for my office, and it's a small space, so I wanted to make sure it wouldn't be too bulky in the room. First, I wanted to know how far the bookcase will stick out into the room. The photo showed the length of the side of each shelf to be 15.75 inches, but it didn't show the depth. I have terrible visualization skills, so I also wanted to know how long the curved surface of the bookshelf is so that I could lay out a tape measure on the floor and really see what it's going to look like. Geometry students learn a formula for this, but who's going to remember that in the long run? What's more important is understanding the relationship that leads to figuring it out. So here's how I did it. So here's the basic shape of a shelf on the bookcase. I noticed that it's a quarter circle, so I could draw a circle around it. I know for sure it's a quarter circle because this is a corner shelf, so it has to fit into the corner of a room, which walls meet at right angles. So I know this is a right angle, and that means it's 90 degrees. The full angle in the center of a circle is 360 degrees, like this. And 90 is a quarter of 360. So that means that this circle is a quarter of a circle. I also noticed that the side of the bookcase is a radius of the circle. A radius is a segment that goes from the center point to any point on the circle. And all radii have the same measure. You can draw them anywhere you want in a circle. So this is a radius, this is a radius. And what we're trying to find is the depth of this bookcase. This blue line here. This blue line is also a radius. And so it also measures 15.75 inches. Here's how we can find the length of this curved surface here. A curved surface in a circle is called an arc. And the length of this arc is part of the whole circumference of the circle. So if we draw the whole circle around here, the arc length is in proportion to the central angle in a circle. So if this shelf is 1/4 of a circle, that means that this arc is 1/4 of the whole way around the circle, the whole circumference. So we can find the circumference and then divide it by 4 to find the arc length. So the circumference is a little more than 3 times the length of the diameter. The diameter is the distance across a circle, so from one point on the circle to the other going through the center point. That's the diameter. We can find the diameter by doubling the radius. So the radius is 15.75. That makes the diameter 31.5. Now that we have the diameter, we multiply it by a little more than 3, or more specifically by pi, which is about 3.14, and you get the circumference of the circle is about 98.9. That's the whole distance around in inches. Now all we have to do is divide the circumference by 4 to get the arc length. So the arc length is about 24.74 inches. And now I can take a tape measure. I can measure out 24.74 inches, or maybe round it off to 25, and actually lay it out to see what my bookcase will look like. Math is about patterns and relationships in the real world. When you understand geometry, you see shapes differently. Here's an analogy. The first handful of times you ever drank wine, you probably thought, tastes like wine. But once you learned about tasting notes and came to understand tannins and acidity and finish, you can't not notice those things now. The same goes for math. The more you understand patterns in the world, the more you notice them and use them. So in the race to memorize formulas and get good grades, let's not lose track of what math is really about. Let's make sure our kids aren't just memorizing wine descriptions, but are actually drinking the wine. Wait, scratch that. They can't drink wine, but you know what I mean. Let's make sure we're making meaning when we do math.